arrived here in March and I was so excited to finally climb in the famous 𝘊𝘭𝘪𝘮𝘠𝑦𝑒 cave here in Villanueva del Rosario. And it turned out to be an amazing trip. Let's go up there. The goal of this trip was to check out a 𝘦𝑗𝑏 called La Planta de Shiva. But since I had never climbed a 𝘦𝑗𝑏 before, I knew that it might, well, be way too hard to climb and to ascend within one trip, and that I would have to go back home, train specifically for it, and then come back later to try and ascend. During the first week I was here, I focused on the first pitch, which is an 8C, and I ascended after a few days. And then I started trying the 𝘦𝑗𝑏 part. After the 8C, there is a good rest. And then comes the hardest part of the 𝘦𝑗𝑏. It's a long crux of about 35 moves with 𝘦𝑗𝑏𝘵𝘊𝘮𝑒. There's only one place where you can chalk up, and only the left hand. And you need to be extremely precise. The holds are small. You need to be very careful with your feet, and you need to know everything by heart. And after that comes a shakeout, but it's not amazing. It's on just 2 small holds. And then another crux with powerful moves where you need to be very precise. It's not over at all. And it's still resistance climbing, so pretty hard. Oh, the skin of climbers. During this whole projecting process, I tried to take really good care of my skin by taping preventively and filing a lot, because splits are so horrible and the holds are small and a little sharp. And I also took a lot of rest days and double rest days to be sure I wouldn't get injured. My fingers needed rest, and just my body in general. Every climbing day I went up once or twice to have a long working session in the route. And then, finally, after 18 such days, I was ready for my first red point attempt. Before the very first attempt, I put some pressure on myself, and it was pretty stressful, but nevertheless, I had a really great attempt and fell high up in the crux already. After that, I had 2 more really good attempts, always falling a little bit higher. And in the third attempt, I even passed the whole long crux, and I felt really close to ascending.
Super! Congrats! 𝘦𝑗𝑏!
This 4th try turned out to be the successful one. And I almost couldn't believe that I had just done my first 𝘦𝑗𝑏. Some months ago, I heard the story behind the name of the route. There were two bolters, and apparently the first one wanted to call it Planta because there is a fig tree at the anchor of the route. And then the second one wanted to call it Shiva, which is an Argentinian music band. And so they had this compromise between the two of them to call it Planta de Shiva. Look whom we met at the crack today, totally unexpectedly. The bolter, one of the bolters of the route.
Hola, Anak.
Hola.
Un placer. Enhorabuena, congratulations.
Gracias.
Buen trabajo.
Sí, muchas gracias por la vía. Me gusta mucho.
Un placer, porque cuando se equipó la vía era un poco futurista. Hace,
claro.
Yo creo que más de 20 años.
Sí.
Las regletas tan pequeñas, era demasiado largo, ¿no?
Sí.
Pero ahora, mira, hay gente como tú que sois mutantes, que estáis preparados perfectamente para estos retos, ¿no? Un placer.
Figuring out the moves was a really tough process, but I felt that there was constant progress, and that was very motivating. Even if it was just a tiny detail, like a better foot placement or finding a way to move better through the crux with an extra handhold I had found. There was always some new step, and I could feel that attempts were coming closer and closer. Apparently quite some holds have broken out over the years, which makes the crux harder. So I was really happy when I had found a solution for every move, and I knew that the route was possible for me. I fought really hard against the route becoming an unhealthy obsession. So I try to keep a good balance between wanting it really badly while at the same time letting go of the control, because I know that when I want to control every single part of the process, it just doesn't work. Shortly after the send, I had the idea to set myself a personal challenge by trying to climb the route again, but this time without knee pads. And it worked out perfectly.
Yes! 9B, no knee pads.